It's important, really. May I?
I suppose so.
Oh, nice place you've got. Good view, isn't it?
You like concrete? Have a seat.
Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Archie.
Dennis.
Good. You live alone?
Well, it's a single person flat, isn't it? I mean, I couldn't have, it's too small, you see.
Well, I mean, one can't stand too much space sometimes. Take my word for it.
You live in a big house.
Well, it's not that big, you know, a couple of spare bedrooms, a couple of acres, you know, not, it never feels like home when you can get lost in it, you know.
No, I don't. Why are you here?
Ah, well, I suppose I'd better get to the point, hadn't I?
Okay.
You see, the thing is, you are going to die. I'm sorry about that, really. It's just one of those things.
What are you talking about?
Flapjacks.
What?
Flapjacks, you like them, don't you?
Yeah, I get it. You sell them or something.
Door-to-door flapjack salesman. Oh, what a curious idea. No, of course not. I'm just checking that I've, got the right person. Shall I start at the beginning?
Okay.
4 years ago, I resolved to murder my wife. My weapon of choice was poison. I've always thought of it as a rather sophisticated way to kill someone.
Is there such a thing?
Well, I needed a way to poison her. So So I looked into what I could do to making flapjacks. See, what I would do is I'd make them for her each day, and she would take them to work with her for lunch. Then I could sit back, safe in the knowledge that I was slowly killing her. All right. Well, that was 4 years ago. Now, I only used small amounts of toxin, you see, and that would eventually build up over the years, leading to her death around about now. Unfortunately, during an argument yesterday, which was worse than the one that we normally have, I found out that she's never liked them. She's been giving them each day to a work colleague.
You mean?
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to kill you.
Susan! You're Susan's husband!
Yes?
Oh my God. The flapjack she's been giving me every day. It's been poisoning.
Poisoning, yes. Quite unfortunate, really. I just thought you should know in case you need to do anything. Well, anyway, I must be off. I'm leaving my wife for lunch.
Wait! You're leaving? But you just told me I'm going to die!
Well, look here, I didn't have to tell you, you know. I didn't have to tell you, you know. The fact is, you mustn't keep shouting at me, because you haven't got much time left.
Yes, I know! I wish I didn't. Why'd you have to tell me? Why couldn't I live my last days in blissful ignorance?
Well, that's gratitude for you. I didn't have to tell you were going to die, you know.
I suppose it's not easy telling people. Well, I tell you, it's not easy listening to it, is it?
Well, yes, goodbye. So I was wondering whether there was anything I can do.
Anything you can do? Wait, I've got an antidote.
Ah! There isn't one, I'm afraid. I mean, I'd get it if there was, but when you've been systematically murdered or poisoned for 4 years, there's not much that a drop of medicine can do for you, you know.
What about a cup of tea?
Sorry?
Tea, shall we have some?
Well, I don't think I have. You... Oh, very well. It's the least I can do, I suppose.
It's brewing.
Well, right.
How long?
Well, I don't have to be at the restaurant till about 2 o'clock.
No, I mean, how long until the end?
Oh, I see. I see. I'm sorry. Well, a month or so, maybe a year. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's a very difficult poison. I mean, what it is quite fascinating, actually. And what you do... Sorry, you probably don't want to know that, do you?
No.
So,
Why flash?
how is your work in pharmaceuticals?
I would say as usual. That's where you got the poison from, isn't it? Susan's work, that's where you nicked it.
Well, she leaves a lot of interesting books lying around the house, and I got her keys one day and acquired what I needed.
Cerulin.
Hmm?
Cerulin, a bluish powder, can be administered in small doses or in one large dose. That's what you use, isn't it? Cerulin.
Well, how do you know? How do you know all that? I mean, you're only a cleaner, aren't you?
Yeah, but you learn things just by being around. I mean, that's why I like working there.
I see.
Why flapjacks?
Well,
Why don't you just put it in a tea in the morning and watch you drink it?
well, I'm good at making flapjacks. I mean, yes, now you mention it. Now you mention it, that kind of work. You know, you ought to be in it yourself, you know. The murder business. I think you'd be good at it. I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit of an amateur. I mean, it's taken me 4 years, and I've killed the wrong person. Not exactly the crime of the century, is it?
No.
So, speaking of tea, shall I pour it?
No, it's all right. I know where everything is. What can I get?
Well, he seems to have taken to it okay. Pharmaceutical properties of proactive substances.
Here's the tea.
Ah, you seem to have a book here, Dennis, with an entry about cerulin.
No, does it? I wouldn't know. I just borrow it from work. I find it interesting. That's why I like working there. Oh, number 3. Forgot to move. I'll get a fresh one.
Oh, just a dash, please. Oh, that's nice tea. Yes, isn't it? Well, this is nice, isn't it? So you going to do now that you know?
What am I supposed to do? Go on living as I didn't know?
So, you really rather that I hadn't told you? Oh, this is a shock. I just thought telling you, that you could organise things, well, give generously to the poor, that kind of stuff. Or, you could make peace with your enemies.
What? I don't want to give money to the needy just because I'm dying. I don't have any enemies.
No.
No, why should I? Why should anyone? You?
Well, as my wife, for a start.
I've never been married. I'd thought about maybe one day, but now.
Don't worry. It's not that great. Getting married was the biggest mistake that I ever made. Well, until now, that is.
Cynical, that is. I'm sure Susan's a loving woman. I'm sure if you find the right person, it'd be wonderful being married. You probably rushed into it. It's a common mistake.
I knew Susan for 5 years before we avowed our love. Anyway, you wouldn't like it, trust me. Marriage is like, it's a bit like riding a bike. The learning part is the most attractive. Then it becomes routine, a way to get from A to B. I'm not too hot on this metaphor stuff, am I? No. The point is this. There are more worthwhile things you can do than get yourself tied to a woman you like just because it feels right at the time.
More worthwhile things? That is cynical. You've got a loving wife, big house, more money than you need, I'm sure. Everything I long for. You come across as one of the most cynical people I've met. And here's me, a lonely cleaner, living in the only flat his measly wage can afford, who's just been told he's going to die, and I can still see some positivity in life. Don't you know a good thing when you see it, Archie?
It's the people that have had it all are the real cynics, Dennis, because they know that all doesn't amount to anything. It's those that have missed out, been hard done by. They are the true romanticists. I mean, they know there's a perfect world out there, they just can't reach it. Stop reaching, Dennis. Be content with nothing. It's all you'll ever have.
Under normal circumstances, I disagree with you. But now, I think it applies. Any chance of a future? Any chance to change? Or disappear when you arrive at my front door?
Well, the reason I came here, and it needed a lot of courage, I might add. I mean, the reason I came here, it needed a lot of courage, I might add, is that people always say there is so much that they want to do before they die. I just thought, well, I'd better tell you.
Thanks, I suppose.
There really is nothing. I mean, I could give you a bit of...
Now we're putting a price on my life now, are we?
No, that's not...
No, I wouldn't worry. Probably not worth much now anyway.
Well, I suppose I must be off now because,
Yeah.
I've got these...
Yeah, I know. Wait, you said you were going for lunch with your wife.
Yes?
You tried to murder her.
Well, don't get me wrong, Dennis. I can't stand the old cow. But it's Saturday. We always meet for lunch on Saturday. And anyway, all these things, you have to stick to the old routine. Anyway.
But wait, before you go, can you just tell me why? I think I'll be all right with dying. I I would like to know there's a reason.
You really think that it would help?
Yes, yes.
But it's not an easy story to tell. It all began 5 years ago when something amazing happened. I fell in love for the first time, but not with my wife. We've been married 11 years, I think, and I discovered that I never loved her. Strange that, because it felt as if I'd been told that the sound of an engine was the height of musical expression. And then I discovered Mozart. Which is fitting, as I met Catherine, the girl I fell for, in a music store. You may know the one, on the Winchester Road. It was wonderful. I'd never felt so happy and so much myself, and so alive and energized. It would have been bliss, but for the small fact that I was already married. I'd been seeing Catherine for about a year, and I was in love, but the thought of leaving Susan seemed so unthinkable to me. I realised now what creatures of habit we all are. How pattern and routine act like mortar holding our lives together. Change is hard, so hard that we often feel it better to bear misery rather than to risk it all for a glimmer of happiness. Catherine often asked me to go away with her. In her letters. Oh yes! Oh yes, we wrote a lot. We spoke on the phone occasionally, but me being a bit of a technophobe, my mobile net was in Susan's name, and she may well have got suspicious if new numbers had kept cropping up on my bills. Anyway, I did promise Catherine that I would go away with her. I needed to. I wanted the courage, and I kept thinking that it would come in the end. How I wish now I'd gone in the early days. But like a fool I waited, without knowing what for. And that proved to be my downfall. Have you ever been in love, Dennis?
Me? Maybe.
Maybe. I think you'll know when you are, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, as I said, Catherine and I spoke on the phone occasionally. And I came home one day with a yearning to speak to her. Susan was out, but when I went to ring her, I found that the number had gone from my phone. In fact, all the numbers had gone from my phone. Nervously, I told Susan that evening. She took the phone off, and within a week, she'd given me a new phone with a new number on it. A technical fault, she said. The phone company had supposedly confirmed it. I now know that that was a lie. Anyway, I still miss Catherine's address. So I wrote to her, telling her my new number and what had happened. She wrote back, but her letters had become strangely brief, almost formal. I tried to arrange she always seemed to ignore my every suggestion. She mentioned some problems she was dealing with, and we would meet again soon. And that was it. And finally, after 2 months of waiting, she told me it was over. I hadn't even seen her. It was all in those letters, those brief notes, and it all seemed so wrong, so unlike her. So I went to her house, but I should have seen it earlier. But it was only then that the truth began to dawn. She'd moved away. She'd moved away a month or 2 earlier, they said, and they had no forwarding address. I lost her.
That must have been awful, Archie. But I don't understand why you blame Susan.
You don't see it, do you? No, of course you don't. It took me a while to see it too. Susan ended it. She orchestrated the whole thing. It wasn't till I got home that I knew for sure. I got her letters and examined them and compared them, and there was the proof. They weren't all written by the same person.
No, still don't get it.
Dennis, she found out. I don't know if she got suspicious or just opened one of my letters by mistake, but there it was in black and white. The girl that I was going to go run away with asking me if I was going to leave Susan and make the choice. It was her or Susan. Do you know, that must have been the day that my phone developed a fault. Susan wipes my phone, cancels my number, and burns the letter. But not without studying the writing and learning to copy it. I found out more evidence later, a few scraps of paper with writing on it in similar words, written in Catherine's light, spiritual script. So different to Susan's heavy hand. So for over a month, Catherine continues to write to me, promising we'll meet again in those brief formal notes that all seem so odd. I'm sure also that Susan must have written a reply to Catherine saying that I still love Susan and wouldn't leave her. Maybe Catherine tried to ring me to ask you about it. Maybe she wrote more letters than Susan burned. But she got no replies and no answers to my calls. She decides I've made my decision and leaves. Alone. I remember the day I sat in my office, staring at those forgeries, which all seemed so obvious in retrospect. I cursed myself, I swore. I threw papers and books on the floor. I upturned my desk. Susan feigned ignorance in what could have generated such a reaction in me. But she knew. We both knew. And when we looked into each other's eyes, neither of us said. It was easiest just to settle back into the routine, the pattern. I waited for a while. I thought maybe she'd come back. Maybe she'd try one more time, but nothing happened. After just 1 year together, I never saw Catherine again. the only woman I ever loved. I realised a few months later that killing Susan had to be my revenge.
Surely there was something else.
Not that I could see. The pain, Dennis. You can't begin to imagine the pain of realising that you love someone and then having them torn away from you for just 1 year, that 1 year. Destroy you.
But at least you had love, Archie. Maybe only for a year, but you had it. You're the lucky one. There are people out there searching for it all their lives and they'll never find it.
Maybe they are the lucky ones.
But why not kill her quickly if it matters that much?
Well, part of me felt that administering in such a fashion would reduce the chance of my being caught. But there was also the simple fact that taking my time over it would make it that much more sweeter. For 4 years, I could watch her, live with her, take her gloatings and put-downs, and all in good humour, knowing that I was killing her. So, has that given you what you wanted?
I don't think so. I think I was looking for something more meaningful than revenge.
More meaningful? Revenge is such a glorious way to die. I mean, how many plays, books, novels have been written about revenge? You are part of an artistic tradition, Dennis, and art lives in you forever. Well, metaphorically, that is.
But why couldn't you forgive her? We can't just go around killing anyone who annoys us a bit. That's ridiculous. What gives you the right?
Annoys us a bit. She did more than annoy me, Dennis. She destroyed the only happiness of my adult life, the only real love I have felt. How do you forgive that? Even on a deathbed, how do you forgive someone that?
But Susan, I've known Susan for 5 years. She's a wonderful woman. You didn't even have proof, Dennis, Archie, did you? Few scraps of handwriting on bits of paper, a faulty mobile phone, a look in her eyes. You know what I think? I think she left you. Catherine left you, and your mind couldn't handle it. So your warped brain invented a story that had Susan as the villain. That's what this is about. That's what all this is about. That's why I'm going to die. Because somebody didn't love you, and you couldn't handle it.
That is pathetic, Dennis. You know nothing about Catherine. She loved me. One senses that, although I wouldn't expect you to know that. And Susan, you think you know Susan. You don't know but a fraction of what she can be, what she really is. And for goodness sake, don't tell me I don't know my own wife.
Well, if it matters that much to you, why didn't you just kill her? Or why not leave Susan? Go and find Catherine. Anything. Anything that would have meant that this didn't have to happen. You didn't have the guts, did you?
Don't be so. You've got no idea. No idea, you.
You didn't have the guts. That's it.
Okay, Dennis. I was a coward. I was a coward for not leaving Susan. But I'm just not cut out for this murder business. It's a lot easier to think of killing someone over a long time. You feel that you could back out. You get time to get used to it before it actually happens. Oh, yes, I was a coward. But part of me thought I would change my mind. I needed a way out.
And it's all come to nothing. You could almost make me feel guilty for being the one that's poisoned instead.
Why did you have to accept those damn flapjacks?
the same reason I can't understand your motive. Susan and I get on well at work. We always have. I used to change shifts so to be on the same one as her, so we could chat. It took me a while to realise it was something more than friendship I was after. I love Susan, Archie. I have done for 2 years.
You love my wife. You do realise that you're now giving me a real reason to... You love my wife? But she's a bitch. She's a manipulative, selfish, heart...
No, she isn't! You just think that in your warped, deluded mind. She's a loving person. She loves you, Archie. Always has.
Well, perhaps. But as I said, I never loved her. I always saw marriage as something functional rather than spiritual. Whatever I felt for her passed long ago. The time I spent poisoning her, yes, sorry, believing that I was poisoning her, simply strengthened my resolve, my hate. I had really begun to enjoy it, I really had. And when I brought up the flapjacks in our conversation yesterday, the thought of her imminent death was right there in front of her, and she didn't even know it. She didn't even know it. Of course, the revelation she gave to me soon put an end to my smugness. She must think my flapjack making skills mean the world to me. The way I looked when she told me that she didn't mind me. She gave them all to you. You haven't.
What?
You haven't been with her.
What? No. I haven't slept with your wife. I haven't done anything with your wife. There was a spark between us, a hint of something more. But every time it got interesting, she'd start to talk about you. A strong, romantic man. That's how she described you, Archie. Long ago I realised she was taken. I didn't stand a chance. She loves you, Archie. Always has.
It's not love. I don't think it ever has been. She just didn't want to risk losing control. If she'd had an affair too, we'd have been on equal footing. As it was, she had the advantage. But now I see it all. The way she talked about you, or maybe the way she didn't, I see it all now.
What did she say?
Well, she compared us sometimes. You know, when I did something wrong, it was the way that Dennis from work would have done it better.
Like what?
Well, vacuuming mostly. Well, dusting and wiping. But don't get me wrong, it may just have been cleaning duties, but it was the way that she said it. There was a real spite for me, but also a real sense of adoration for you. That confused me, and she noticed that. And then you wouldn't get mentioned for a month or so. Evidently she didn't want you to find out.
Find out what?
That there was something between you. That she liked you. Or even that she...
Don't even say it, Archie. You come here. You come uninvited to my flat. You tell me I'm going to die. No, you're trying to burn me up with your wife. Oh, this is the most extraordinary day of my miserable life. And I think it's time you left.
Dennis, don't be so blind. I'm just telling you the truth as I see it. I've got no feelings for her anymore, but I now see it. She felt something for you. I'm sure of it.
Why are you telling me this now, Archie?
I don't really know. I just thought it was time you knew things. The facts, the truth before.
Well, it means nothing to me now. I think it's time that you left.
Get on.
You wrecked my life. Now you're wrecking my flat. Just get out! knew it would come to this. I knew, inside, I knew.
About the flat check?
About amounting to nothing. About dying alone.
But that's not true, Dennis. She saw... That's not true, Dennis. Susan tells me that you're a wonderful asset to the department.
As a cleaner!
Well, yes.
My life's achievement. Cleaning limescale from one of the sinks in Lab H.
Dennis, I don't know how much this will mean to you, but you say you love her.
Yes.
Well, I meant what I said. She may never have acted on it, but I think you brought something into Susan's life that she needed. You brought something into her life that she needed. A spark, a twinkle in the eye, an aura of positivity. When she was you, when she'd been with you, she was happy. When she spoke of you, she was speaking of the happiness of life. I can see it now.
Archie, what can she see in me? I've done nothing with my life. I'm worthless, useless. I don't have a career, money, a house, a flat. I don't even own this dump. What could she see in me? I'm nothing. Nothing more than a chance to while away a few hours downtime at work.
I think she sees far more in you than you guess. For a start, she's sick. The life you put so much store in, the disillusion with money, status, the whole charade. She's seen through it. And she's seen through me. We both lost our belief, Dennis, our faith in life. I lost mine long ago. For that 1 year, that... And Susan, I think she sees what she lost in you. You said it yourself. I'm a hardened cynic. You have hope.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I'm the one that murdered you, remember?
No. You murdered someone who's already dead, Archie. But you've shown me something in me I didn't even know existed.
Well, it's been a pleasure of sorts, but I must be going. I'm a bit late for lunch already, so I think I ought to...
Archie,
Yes?
I've got something to tell you.
This sounds important.
I'm going to die, Archie.
Yes, Dennis. I think I'm the one that told you that, remember? We've just been having this long discussion about that very...
No, I mean, I'm going to die now, Archie. Soon. I poisoned my tea.
No.
Well, I thought, if I'm going to die, I might as well get it out of the way.
I have just made another enormous gap. You see, a swap of cups.
What? Why would you do that?
Well, I saw the book and what you said about poisoning the tea, and I got suspicious. I just got suspicious.
I mean, this is... First you come here, tell me you're killing me, and then you stop me from killing myself. That was the last of the toxin I had.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Like Hamlet.
I wouldn't know, I haven't seen it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give the end away.
Doesn't really matter now, does it? Both in the same boat. Both go to die. We haven't got long to live, have we, Archie?
Well, not had much luck, have I? I mean, first I accidentally poisoned you, and then myself. I think things through a bit more carefully. I think things through a bit more carefully in future. I can feel a tightening inside.
the drug. It was a large dose. It will be very quick.
What an unusual day this has been.
It would have been nice to have met under different circumstances.
Dennis, quick, quick. Get me a pen and paper quickly.
Paper?
Pen! Right, bring it here. And get me the empty tub of syrup. Bring it here. Right, give it to me. They'll probably check it for fingerprints, you know. Who will? The police, Dennis. You can't have somebody die in your flat without having the police involved, can you? I mean, you can't have somebody involved here without having the police involved.
Okay.
Now, it's as you said, it's suicide. I'm about to write the note that proves it. Now, tell the police that I showed up asking questions about Susan. I was confused, melancholy. I was agitated. Yes, that's it, agitated. I was unpredictable, mood swings, you know. One moment I'm calm, then I had tea, and then I attacked you. You see, I did something. Yes, yes, you see, you didn't know what I had.
The Cyril.
Yes, of course. And all the time I'm calm, there's something eerie about me. I'm unsettled. I'm unsettled.
Sergeant, you don't have to do this now. What does it matter what happens to me? We're both dying. We'll be dead soon.
For a while. There's a year or two left. Remember, I don't know. How's this? Dearest Susan. No, wait a minute. I'm angry with her. Wait. I think. Hold on. I'll start again.
You're writing to her?
Yes, of course. Who else? The point is, I hate her. No, it's not. It's that I. No, I love her. No, I love her as much as you love her, and I hate her as much as I hate her. So, let's write this then. I hate her as much as I hate her, if that makes sense. I'm not sure.
Oh, it's just been such an unusual day. Your note is going to tell her that you killed yourself because she's in love with me.
Of course, that's why I killed myself. You see. Wait a minute. No, wait. Dear, let me try this again. Susan, my love. Susan, my love. No, I'll do it. Susan, my love. I do not weep for me. I know in fact that you won't, because I have discovered that your affections lie elsewhere. I have given you all, and I can bear the pain of rejection no longer. Yours, Archie. Well, you don't like it.
Doesn't matter what I think. Sure, no.
Very well. Now, when you give it to her,
when I give it to her?
yes, Dennis, you must give this letter to Susan.
I can't do that. I can't do that. It's too much. I can't do it.
Well, you must. Look, she'll need to be helped through this. She'll need to be comforted.
You want me to comfort your wife? You can't just pass your wife over to me, Archie.
She loves you. You love her. It's what you both wanted. Something good should come out of this immense mess I've created.
I can't deal with this. I just can't. It's too much.
Trust me, Dennis. Go to her. Be happy.
And her? You want her to be happy? The woman you couldn't forgive? Not even on a death?
Even on a deathbed.
You haven't forgiven her, have you?
No, I haven't, and you've seen it too. I mean, that's why I want you to go. Be happy, fall in love with her is what you want. Feel for her what I felt for Catherine. Feel love
Before I die. And after a year, I leave Susan, and you finally get your revenge.
The more poetic revenge it seems. The poison factory worked. I think it's been nice. It's been nice meeting you after all day.
Archie? Archie? Oh my God. Oh God, this is a mess. What am I going to do? Archie, can a pain of loss really be that bad? That feeling nothing is better? Is life really that cruel? It can't be. I don't believe you, Archie. I know it's bad to speak ill of the dead, or to the dead. But I'm sorry if that's how you saw it. But it's not me. There is a perfect world out there. Even for a dying cleaner like me.